Hello and welcome to another beautiful Sunday on Heart to Heart podcast with Mike Mondo
and Shiko.
I hope that you've enjoyed the last 3 episodes. They were quite the eye-opener.
They were quite intense. I feel like they were very raw and left me feeling very vulnerable. So I'm just encouraged that at least the episodes are resonating with people.
That's really cool, and it's really true. We've got a lot of DMs from people telling us how much they love the realness of the conversation. So you have to make sure that you're a part of it every single Sunday from 12 p.m. Kumbuka, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, and of course on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe, and let's have grown conversations about navigating life in your 30s and 40s in a blended family. And of course, while stupidly in love with each other.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't sure where you were going with that. So I was like, what is he about
You had
to
stupid.
say? I was like, what are you saying?
Yes, so how was your day, first of all?
My day was good. How was your day?
Well, I was trending.
Oh my gosh. Can we not even?
I'm not going to go into the details of that, but I was trending and everyone has been, hating about me, calling me a simp and all of those things.
That's a low light. That's definitely not a highlight.
No. I don't mind, by the way. In fact, let me make this very clear and I'll make it clear here. I am a simp and I'm proudly simping. Yeah, Nisawa. Like we said, of course, remember to subscribe to our podcast. We are always talking about navigating life in your 30s and 40s. But we all know, and in fact, Shiko, you've said this before, that love is not enough.
It's never
enough. And so
enough.
there are rules and regulations, terms and conditions that apply that should happen. At least we're trying to make happen in our relationship. And maybe if you feel like it's something you'd like to try out in your relationship, you can go ahead and do so. But first of all, how did we get to this article?
Huffington Post had an article where they asked a bunch of relationship experts, couples therapists, what they think are the rules that every couple should abide by.
And there's 7 of them.
There are 7 rules of relationships.
Okay. And so we're going to break that down. I know personally about your rules. And you like them being followed. In fact, if your rules... and by the way, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about like rules like you will shower at 6 in the morning. No, I'm not talking things like that. Like for her, things like date night is something that's a rule for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's super important to me, which is another way you can think about these relationship rules, and we'll get into them in a second. But like, you can think of them as like things that are super important to keep the relationship alive and happy and to keep each one of you invested and fulfilled.
And you're right, because every relationship you need to put in the work. In any organization, there are rules to that organization. In any country, there are rules in that country. Why not in your relationship?
Right. In the book of Leviticus, God gives the Israelites rules to live by in order to be holy. So there's rules everywhere. So why not in relationships?
That's very true. Yeah, I remember a rule my mom had. If you didn't finish the food on your plate, you will go to bed, and the next morning your siblings could be eating the best breakfast, but you'll have to finish that food.
The food that you didn't finish.
That you didn't finish before now you can enjoy your breakfast. But let's dive right into it. So this article is on Huffington Post, and I think maybe we'll put it on descriptions for someone who would like to read it. We'll actually tag in the link to that article. But rule number 1, according to this article, since you sent it to me rather,
I did.
I'm going to throw it to you. So rule number 1, keep dating each other. In our context, how do you see that?
First of all, love it.
Yeah.
You know me, I love it, love it, love it. And I like the way that they describe it, which is not physically just going on dates. That's one thing you can do. But they actually talk about it as keep trying to discover each other, learn more about each other, make each other happy, do thoughtful things, like keep being romantic. Because I think that's what people equate with the dating stage, when you're really trying to make each other happy and get to know each other. And I do think that's super important. And whatever that means for your specific relationship, you should keep doing that.
But what if you're with one of those stubborn people? There are those guys who, for example, who say, I've already got her.
Oh!
So I don't need to do much anymore. Like, she's in the back, she's in the pocket, she's now my wife, or she's now my child's mother. Like, I've got her. And I know for men, they struggle with that. There's that mentality. In fact, there's a statement which is quite shocking. A lot of men use. They say, have you ever seen a politician campaign after winning the election? It's an analogy that some men use.
That's how you lose the re-election, because your fellow competitors are still campaigning. You think you've won. Elections are still ongoing, by the way. It's just you who doesn't know.
You're the one who doesn't know
Other
that.
people are still running for your seat.
Yes. So men need to forget that. And we need to understand that even though you are my wife or my girlfriend or my baby mama who we are still together with, that I need to keep dating you.
And just like for women, there are things I know you like to see from me. If I let myself go in certain ways that stop being attractive to you, because you're already my husband, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I stop doing things to make you happy, the things that you like, and I'm like, I got you, right? You're here. Where are you gonna?
Yeah, but I feel that happens also with women in a way. I'm not saying you.
You better
Yeah.
not say. Actually, no, this is a safe space.
No, it's
you
a
can
safe
say.
space. I can say. And I hear a lot of men complain about this. That when a woman gets you, they stop trying to look good for you.
See, even you stopped campaigning. Hash has rested. And that's, I guess, what this article is saying. The man shouldn't be like, I've already gotten her, so I don't need to take her out on dates. I don't need to be romantic.
Yeah.
The woman shouldn't be like, he's already put a ring on my finger, or I've already gotten the man I wanted, now I can just let go of all the things that I know make him happy. The onus is on both of you to keep the fire alive, to keep dating each other, to keep doing those things that make the other person happy.
So, like for instance, and if you're a guy, I'm sure maybe you can relate. We complain, we say like women stop trying to look sexy for their man. Like they say things like, every time I come home, she's always in a, what do you call that, those headgear
Bonnet.
things, in a bonnet. Siju wearing a t-shirt ya sengenge ni ngombe, you know. And then like there's a way that after she becomes a mother, there's a way men say that women stop trying to look sexy for their man.
Okay, you know what? Maybe that's true. But at the same time, if you told me, babe, put on something sexy, I'm taking you out on a date, would you think I would come with my bonnet
No,
and
you won't.
my Safaricom t-shirt? M-Pesa Go. No,
M-Pesa
I would
Go,
not.
yeah.
So, it's up to you. Like, you've told me before, like, when we go on date nights, even though we've already gotten each other, dress up for me, right?
Yeah,
And
of
I'm
course.
fine with that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, then take me on date nights.
Okay.
Exactly. I think it's both of you. And whatever that means. Some men like bonnets, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
those
know.
t-shirts you're saying, whatever is important to your man or your girl, do that. Whether it's date night for me or it's something else for your guy or whatever it is.
And also allow me to play the advocate for mamas on this one. You have to understand that when that woman became a mom, her life has been overtaken by this kid. Now, this kid is probably stressing her out. The kid is probably making her feel this and that. Emotions are all over the place. You have to play a role in trying to make her feel sexy again.
Absolutely.
One of the ways is by dating her.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the ways is in doing small things for her and making them feel like, you know what, I get it, we're together. But being comfortable, getting to that level of comfort that allows stagnation should not happen.
Yeah. Actually, I love seeing those couples, older couples that have this level of comfort with each other that's so cute. Like they don't even fight anymore.
Yeah.
But then what's the line you draw where, yes, you're super comfortable with each other, but not comfortable to the point where now you've stagnated, you don't date each other, you're like brother and sister in the house.
By the way.
Roommates, as in, so there needs to be a way you keep the spark alive, but you still grow that friendship and that bond over time.
That is true. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2. Now they say stop comparing your relationship to others. They say that comparison is a natural human tendency, and thinking from time to time about how your relationship stacks up against other couples in your orbit is normal. But however, if you do it too much, it can be detrimental to your happiness and well-being. I can tell you for free, I have never once compared our relationship to anyone. Never. I have never sat down and said, I wish Shiko and I can be like so and so and so and so.
Come on.
No.
I'm gonna look through my DMs. I am sure you've sent me Instagrams of like a chick doing something for a guy.
No, that's like the act itself. You know, like for example, I'm a person who likes dark jokes or dark humor and things like that. And because I like dark humor, I know you don't like dark humor.
I do not.
Right? So when I see couples who do these pranks on each other, that's quite dark, and some of them can be quite dangerous, right? For me, I find it entertaining. However, I know I can't do it with you.
No.
Because if I did it with you,
it would not be
hell
funny.
has no fury.
Yeah, it would not be funny
it
for
won't
anybody.
be funny for you.
Okay.
So I can't say I desire that because I'm really happy with the status quo. So I would not want to rock the boat by comparing myself to another couple.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of comparison. Well, okay, there are some situations where people do compare. Like when you hear stats about, this couple has sex twice a day, every day. Or this couple, they go on vacations every month. Or, you hear, these guys never fight. Or these guys allow each other a week to go do whatever. This chick doesn't complain when her husband goes to strip clubs. I think those are the ways people compare.
A big shout out to our ladies in the coast. They're known for sharp tongues, where a woman can tell you, unaona bwanake fulani anamfanyia hivi na hivi na hivi. Na mimi huwezi nifanyia hivi. I find that really bad. In fact, if I was ever compared, God forbid it ever come. Are you seeing what other men are doing? I hate that statement. I hate that statement of what other men. I'm not other men. I'm your man.
Ooh.
So if I'm your man, excuse me, we shall go on our pace. So if I cannot do vacations every month, I would not force that. And I mean, both of us have to understand that this is our relationship. We're setting our own unique journey. Whether or not other couples are doing things that work for them, that works for them, and good on you, congratulations. But the minute you start comparing,
the minute you start saying you should be like, or can't you see what other men are doing, or can't you see what other women are doing?
Yes.
But looking at other couples and saying that's interesting is not bad. Obviously, let me do that with.
That's fun. I'll be a biggest cheerleader for a couple that's doing a thing that's theirs. Like I see, for example, I've heard of some men comparing even wives and saying like, mazee ningepata bibi kama wa Tony. I'm a bibi kama wa Jimo. And I sit down there and I wonder, why would you start comparing their dynamic to yours?
Yeah.
Your dynamic is unique for you. And you need to figure out how you're going to work through and create fun things that you guys can do so that you also have fun things to say about your wife.
Yeah. And I guess in the age of social media, it's very easy. I mean, comparison, they say, is the thief of joy. With social media, it's so easy to compare. I mean, makes comparison like every time you're scrolling, you can be comparing every single aspect of your life to someone else's.
Exactly. And the minute you're unable to keep up with that other couple, that other relationship, you're always going to see yourself as a failure.
Yeah, and you'll feel bad about
and you'll
your
feel bad
relationship.
about that. So I don't think it's healthy. You've never compared us to anyone, I hope.
No, I'm pretty happy. And I think that also comes with age and experience, where what you see sometimes is not always the reality.
That is true.
You never know what couples are actually going through. So some couples may look amazing on the outside.
Picture perfect.
But then in actuality, I mean, it could be a complete car wreck inside. So that one I don't think is a rule I would find hard to abide by. Yes.
So you're okay with that? Okay,
I'm happy
we're
with that
keeping
one.
that.
Rule number 3 is don't avoid the uncomfortable stuff. So it might be easier to bury your head in the sand when it comes to certain conversations, but it's important to have those conversations.
I think I confront you about things.
Uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah. I think you're the one who has...
No, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, let me tell you guys something. Every time Shiko and I are in a fight, yeah? And please note, don't look at us and think we don't fight. We do fight. We have our arguments. But every time we have an argument, Shiko tends to be the one who withdraws.
Yeah.
You withdraw and you don't want to talk about it. In fact, every time I would ask you, babe, can we talk about it? You'd always be like, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Exactly, right now. At first, my instinct is always to shut down. And then now, later on, I would really want to go in. But the way I saw this one is they're talking about topics like finances or, touchy things. Not necessarily arguments, but things that are a bit sensitive to discuss. Health, or money or religion for some people.
But don't you think that because people are afraid of having uncomfortable situations, that's why it ends up resulting in a fight, because now both of you are now not understanding each other.
You're on different pages.
Yeah, and one person feels aggrieved, the other person feels aggrieved, but no one knows what exactly is the root cause.
Exactly, because you've been avoiding this topic, especially when you're just starting out your relationship.
Yeah.
For example, with us, we've just moved in together.
Yes.
And so many things are new. Like, oh, this is the way he puts his toothbrush, or this is the way his towel.
It started way before that. Like, you wanted me to get rid of a lot of my stuff. Yeah, guys, let me tell you, that one is a standard. When you move in with a woman, you will lose 80% of your stuff and remain with 20. So try your best to not get kicked out. Because utatoka kwa nyumba na mattress. Yeah, but here's the thing. If we're talking uncomfortable situations, then how do I approach conversations of, for example, in terms of health, for instance, if I feel my woman is gaining weight?
Ooh.
Of course, I can't go and tell her, babe, you're fat.
Oh, you better not.
It's a conversation that's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a way that I am picturing you as my woman, and I'm saying I would like my woman to look this kind of way. But you've been hitting the burgers real strong, and things are happening. And the outings and everything, you're probably gaining some weight.
Oh gosh, wow, there are some really difficult subjects to approach with caution. But I think if you know your partner, you love your partner, there's a way you can do it from a place of love.
Yeah.
You're not saying, I don't like the way you look. For example, in this one for weight, you're saying, I'm worried about your health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably there will be discomfort, and maybe anger, maybe defensiveness. But if it's really coming from a place of love, you'll keep at it. Her health is important to you.
Okay, what about uncomfortable conversations, considering we're talking about our situation also as a blended family?
Okay.
Uncomfortable situations when it comes to things like raising conversations, when it comes to raising kids. Things like disciplinary issues.
Yeah.
Now, if my daughter is here,
Yeah.
and she's done something wrong,
Yeah.
and let's say you're punishing her, and I feel a certain type of way, like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
How are those conversations supposed to be taken about? Because, for instance, back when we were young, a kid was like alikuwa mtoto wa kijiji, for lack of a better way to put it. If you were even in the estate and some other parent saw this kid abusing another grown-up, you'd get smacked
By whichever
adult is there.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Now I'm imagining a situation whereby, what if one of our kids is disrespectful to the other? Considering that, for example, these kids will grow. They will become teenagers at one point. You know how teenagers can get. And in that point of disrespect, how do I come to you and have that conversation about, okay, I want to discipline this child because of XYZ?
Yes, and I think that's why actually in the article they talk about practicing this rule of don't avoid the uncomfortable stuff very early, and even with small things. Because you and I have talked about discipline. We've talked about things to do with the children. So we've already started talking about such things that are uncomfortable. That way, if I came home and found you disciplining one of the boys, I would know what your thought process was, and I would trust that we are on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we've talked about this already. We've not avoided the topic entirely. So I think that's why it's important to start early talking about such uncomfortable things, like even finances.
Yeah.
Let's say this podcast starts getting sponsors.
Yeah.
This will be the first bag we're making together.
Yes.
And it'll start small.
Yeah.
So do we invest that money together? Who decides what we're doing with that money? Do we open a joint account? That way, it won't be like we wait until we make our first $1 million to now have this big discussion about how do we use finances.
Use the finances. So they need to start small. I think we learned in church also about if you cannot handle the small amounts of money, then God sees no point in blessing you to earn more money. So that's why, okay, I like that. I like how you're thinking. So don't worry, I won't tell you about the other account.
You're very funny.
Okay. We're on rule number 4. By the way, guys, we're going slowly and breaking them down one by one. Don't forget that we will leave a link to these rules and you can get a chance to read them by yourself and of course or with your partner and just try and understand how that works for you guys. It doesn't have to be like ours.
And tell us what you think in the comments. Like, tell us which rules you agree with, don't agree with, what you would add and what you would take away, just what you think of these rules of engagement.
Okay, we're on rule number 4. Go ahead.
Express gratitude every day. Show love and support for the big things and the small things.
I appreciate you. I think you are a very, very smart, intelligent, beautiful, loving, and caring human being. And I can honestly say I would not trade you for the world.
Oh my gosh, you're making me blush so hard.
Yes, queen, yes.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you, honey. And yeah, so I think this is great. And I feel like it's really important, especially the small things. I think we are pretty good at expressing gratitude for big things.
Yeah.
But I love how in this article they talk about small things. For example, you bring my car in every day because I don't want to open the gate. So I park outside and Mike every night takes my car keys and puts my car inside of the gate of the compound.
Yeah.
And I just realize that I should say thank you for that every time. Even if it's something you do every day, I should say thank you every day that you do it. So thank you so much for always bringing my car inside the compound.
You're welcome. Plus, it feels good to drive a new car every once in a while. But also, yeah, thank you. You always try and make sure I've eaten. Oh my God. Guys, you don't understand how many times Shiko always asks me, babe, have you eaten? Have you eaten? And also, aside from the eating bit, I appreciate you for how you always want to know how my day is going to be or how my day is going. You make these random checks. I think you're the only person who almost every day you'll ask me, how's the show going? Because no one really asks me that. Literally the only person, not my friends, not my family, no one asks me, oh, how's the show? You ask me that every day. So it shows me like you're concerned about what it is that I'm doing. You're concerned about my day. You're concerned about if I'm okay and those kind of things. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it.
And you see how much I'm smiling when you say thank you and you smile. So let's do that. I think it's important. I think showing gratitude is important. I feel like in relationships, people don't show gratitude enough. I feel a bit bad for men. I feel like men don't get told thank you
That
enough.
is true. Thank you for recognizing that.
And so I do think it's important. I think men love words of affirmation. Most men love words of affirmation, and I think an easy way to give them that is just by saying thank you for the small things.
But please note, this is for men who are actually stepping up and doing their part.
Please.
Yeah? It's not just that you're sitting down, you want to be told thank you
for breathing.
For breathing. No, it's a job that you must do. So we're on to rule number 5, and for rule number 5, we nailed it. Be transparent with your partner.
Be transparent with your partner. Okay.
Be transparent. Guys don't understand about how much we talked about our lives when we first met.
True.
And it was so clear. There's no hiding anything.
True.
Like it was, this is my situation. Take me as I am.
Almost to the point, it was like we were trying to scare each other away.
You know,
like I'll tell you so much of
things that you don't tell someone on day 1 or 2 of
right
meeting
off
them,
the bat, so that you can decide right now if you're interested or not.
Yes.
Love that. I agree. We were very transparent in the beginning with each other. But let me say something I think you can work at.
Wow.
Yes,
Here we go.
Yes. Putting you on blast. You and many men. Being transparent is not just for the beginning of the relationship so that I know all the skeletons in your closet, you know mine. It is a continuous behavior.
Yes.
And we've had this conversation before, especially when you and men in general are going through something difficult, you will keep it to yourselves sometimes forever or for longer than necessary. I think being transparent means even when you're struggling with something, you shouldn't just be the way you are and say, but see, this is my problem. See, I'm dealing with it. See, why am I telling you? See, I'm the man. No, I think that burden should not be yours alone, and you shouldn't be okay to carry burdens alone.
I agree. However, that's something that will require time to unlearn. And the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of men, funny as it may seem, we are the subject of judgment by our women based off our inability to deal with situations. The minute I'm unable to do something that is a problem to me or to us, there's a thought process like he's not man enough. And we are judged that way since when you're younger. Women will judge you for not having enough money. A woman will judge you for not having a job. A woman will judge you for, let's say, not even if you have money, you're not earning enough. A woman will judge you for the fact that, oh, you don't dress up in a nice way, you don't look polished. Now, there's so many areas we are judged, such that by the time we get into a situation where probably talking about it can give a solution to that situation, we've already socialized ourselves into saying, you know what, deal with it by yourself. That's why there are men who fake things to get a positive reaction from women. And they will fake a lifestyle, they will fake status, they will fake everything just in order to get that sense of approval. Like you said earlier, men like receiving that positive words of affirmation. We enjoy being told, oh my gosh, he's such a handsome man. Oh my gosh, he's a rich man. He's a powerful man. And all these things help us feel more alive and more validated as men. Now, is it a problem over time if we cannot share? Yes, it can be. Because at some point, as men, we sit down. Maybe you're struggling financially. I know of men who've even been fired from their jobs, but could not even tell their wives for a whole 6 months. And they don't talk about it. They'll leave in the morning, put on a jacket, nini, aende akae jivanji the whole day. And come back in the evening just because he knows the minute I talk about it, his wife is going to judge him.
But you see how you can only do that for so long.
Yes.
Even in our relationships, there's been times I've noticed there's something going on with you, but you're not talking about it. But it's showing in other ways. You're keeping it in, but it's coming out in other
different ways.
Yeah, and in negative ways, in ways that are still affecting the relationship negatively. So wouldn't it be easier just to say, look, babe, I'm stressed about this. I'm going to try and handle it, but this is what's on my mind. This is what's weighing heavily on me. And I'll still be like, okay, you're just letting me know what's going on with you, but you're still saying, as the man, I'm going to deal with it. But I can help you. I can be your partner. I can even give you moral support if you feel like you need to fix it on your own. But you keeping it in completely, first of all, is not sustainable. Second of all, is very obvious because it'll come out in other ways.
But that's because you're you.
No.
You can do that. But for majority of guys, can their women say the same things? I've been in relationships in the past where I could not say that. I've been asked by women before, people I'm dating, and I tell them, yo, we can't do this because I can't afford it. And the question that would come back is, what do you mean you can't afford it? Like, what do you mean you don't have money? Like, to them, it's a foreign concept. What are you talking about? And because of this, so there are all these safety measures that we've put in our brains where just don't talk about it. In fact, if I'm lying, by the way, if you're a guy, tell me I'm lying. A lot of men will not tell you what they're really going through. And that's why I guess there was a time a lot of men were committing suicide.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Because they can't talk about how they feel. You're the first person I've dated in my entire life who actually gave a damn about how I feel. Who actually told me, Mike, sit down and I want you to tell me, point blank, tell me how you're feeling. Period.
Yeah, but that makes me really sad because I am thinking of other women I know and they would want their men to talk to them. So maybe men just need to realize it's okay. Like, it's a safe space.
Create an environment that he won't feel judged or attacked, and I'm sure guys will talk. Like, if you opened up that space to them, and for guys, it could be any woman. The safest person they have is their mother. Their mothers, they tend to talk to them because they know their mom will never judge them.
You can be vulnerable.
Yeah, you can be vulnerable.
Not even with
mom.
the boys who you watch football with every weekend.
No. By the way, when men are together, it's like a testosterone competition.
Jeez.
It's like when boys sit together, It's always about biashara, for instance. Who was the next connect? It's about the soccer game and my team is better than yours. It is about girls. Oh, that chick is hotter than that chick. Like there's always just this sense of testosterone-filled energy. And because of that, men even subconsciously are in constant competition with each other. Even if they don't recognize it, but they are. They sit down and they see their boy bought a new car, a new Mercedes. He's thinking, I need to upgrade also, get a Mercedes.
Yeah.
My boy left his job and started a business and now he's successful. Oh, I'm going to do the same. And that sense of competition, even amongst men, we don't tell each other our vulnerabilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so the only thing I think men are really good at, especially if you have boys, is borrowing money from each other.
Wow.
Where you call your boy and say, hey, you send me a G.
It's like a merry-go-round, but
Yeah.
informal.
Exactly.
You lend, give back, lend, give back.
Yes.
But that's really sad. So I guess what then we're saying, or in short, is be transparent. So open up to your partner, but you also need to create a safe space for
Yes.
that partner to be
To
able
be able to tell you. And never throw back his vulnerabilities.
Oh gosh,
I'll
yeah.
just add that one on this point. Never throw back, ladies, his vulnerabilities. Because once you do that, and I guarantee you, if I talk to you and you throw it back at me later in an argument, in something, I will never talk to you again.
That is really harsh.
Yeah. So, on to rule number 6. Continue to build trust. This one is a touchy
Excuse me.
No, I feel, I can only say, honestly say I trust you. But, however, I am aware that 1, you are a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Number 2, you are a woman of substance, meaning you are both successful in your career and successful spiritually. You are a good homemaker. Yeah? And most importantly, everyone around you always just feels happy and comfortable with you. Here's the thing, that's what you call the ultimate triple threat, I don't know, trifecta,
You're really
whatever.
gassing me up. I don't even know where this is going.
True. Here's where it's going. Because you're all these things, you are a prime target for a lot of men. And hold up, some of them not necessarily to settle down. They'll be thinking, I want to smash. Yeah? The ones who want to settle down have got to have a higher level of maturity. And because of that maturity level, that person who would be hollering at you to settle down will be a very high value man. Which means at every point of your interactions with guys, there'll be a part of me that will always feel like, damn, what if that's the guy?
Oh my God.
What if that's the guy? That insecurity will always just linger. I won't act on it. Of course, I wouldn't necessarily say at you, oh, I'm going to accuse you of doing something wrong. But that's the reality. And men will hunt something that they see is shiny.
Okay, let me read the examples they give, because when I read these, I thought about the fight we had this week. So, these are the things you should think about when they talk about continuing to build trust. Think about what you could be doing, usually unintentionally, that could make your partner think, what's he or she hiding? For example, keeping your phone password a secret. We know each other's passwords to the phone. Taking your phone with you everywhere you go, even into the bathroom. Not saying where you're going or when you'll be home. Or not coming home when you say you will. Having friends your partner doesn't know about. Keeping your spending a secret, etc, etc, etc. So, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I agree with number 6. Continuing to build trust is important.
Yeah.
And we talked about this the last time. I feel offended when Mike thinks that I'm hiding something. So my gut reaction is to get angry.
Yes.
He's looking for me to reassure him that I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
But I'm so angry at the insinuation that I can't even see past my anger to reassure him, because I'm like, that's what gets me. And
Actually, your question was, what am I apologizing for?
Exactly.
You know, and
so let's give them like the surface.
Give the story, Juju.
So yeah, so this week we had a big fight. We didn't talk for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Because he knew I was going to do some biashara. He knew everything.
I knew she was going to point A, and at point A, she's going to do this biashara.
Yes.
After which she's going to come home.
Exactly.
And we do our evening routine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the plans changed as I was on the way to do the biashara, right? And once I got there, I was in work mode. I literally put my phone away. I wasn't answering my phone. I wasn't texting. I wasn't nothing until immediately after work ended. And then I pulled out my phone.
Yes.
Why are you looking at me like
no,
that?
I want you to say the story.
So then I pulled out my phone and I call him back. This is now when I'm wrapping up. And of course, I'm finding missed call or missed text message. And so I'm like, I'm coming home. Because he was asking, what time will you be home? And I'm like...
And I realized you weren't at point A.
Exactly. He
You
could
were at
hear
point B.
the background and he knew I was not at point A. I was at a different point. So when I got home, he was pissed, but I was even more pissed because I'm thinking, why are you angry? And what was getting to me was I felt like he was accusing me of something or suspicious of something and that he didn't trust me. And I'm like, yo, you knew I was going to do this biashara.
Yeah.
Like, what else would I be doing? Like, I didn't keep you updated because I was in work mode. And he, of course, is like, but things changed. You didn't update me. And he's just looking for me to tell him, look, sorry that I couldn't answer. Things changed. Didn't mean to worry you.
And that is what I was trying to say. I mean, in that fight, my entire argument was based off, like I remember we talked previously on the podcast about where you know where some of our insecurities and our issues come from, right? And so in my head, I'm thinking, surely you said you're going here. How come you're not there? Number two, you also expect it of me when I go to do my own things that let me know, like where you are and all of those details. And I felt like, why would you change plans and not inform me? And at that point, all I needed was, like you said, just that reassurance of an apology. Something like, hey, Mike, I'm sorry. I should have communicated, but this and this and this is what happened. But I apologize. It won't happen again. Period. Once you say that, it's over and done with. It's dusted. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
And life moves on.
Yeah.
So Shiko and I could not agree. I wanted her to just admit it, just say, okay, fine, I was somewhere else and I should have communicated about where I was. And I was giving her all these random scenarios about, now what if that night I decided to go and I bump into you somewhere else? At that point now, you've planted a seed that you're not being genuine. And so I think this rule is really important, for us. It's important to be accountable to your partner so that it builds trust. Over time, of course, you'll find like there's that space you get in whereby, I know she'll contact me, she'll holler at me, it's cool.
Yeah.
But as you're growing to get to that space,
Yes.
it's important to be able to say, hey, it's like this. And Shiko and I do this all the time. Whenever she leaves the office, whenever I leave the office, first thing is you text and say, I'm leaving now, heading home.
On the way home.
I'm on the way home. Like that constant information. I don't want situations one day where I'm like, where on earth is my wife?
Yeah.
And then you're seeing on some random Instagram story, you're pigging sherehe somewhere, which is okay for you to pig at that sherehe, but just let me know where you are so that in case of anything, I know where I can find you.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is whatever the other partner needs to be able to feel like they can trust you, just do that. Like for me, it might be something different. I might need you to help me build trust in a different area. And for you, it's this area. But it's important to continue building that trust. So I agree.
I think there's one thing, though I know we've improved highly on that. Our fights don't begin with shouting matches. Of late, when we fight nowadays, we approach each other like, I'm not happy about X, Y, Z. Most of the time, it's me, by the way, let me put it that way. But I've come to accept that, you don't like people raising their voice at you. And once someone does that, it kind of puts you in a state of fear and self-protection. And then that also kills the trust levels that you have with that person. Can I trust myself around this person? If they're all the time, they're constantly shouting at me.
Yeah, agreed. I think we are in agreement over rule number 6.
Okay.
And we're working on it.
Is that a second apology?
Kwenda. Rule number 7.
Okay, yeah.
Don't rely on love alone. Because love just ain't enough.
That is true.
Which I love this, because they talk about if you choose your partner intentionally and with meaning, then the relationship is more than just feeling in love. Because sometimes you're arguing and you're not feeling in love.
Yeah.
So your relationship has to stand for more than just, oh, I'm feeling in love with him.
Yes.
And that's another reason I'm so glad that I did that list of mine.
Yes.
The Burning Bushman list. Because it's not just about how to know this guy is right for you. It's also a good reminder when times are hard, why this man is still the man for you. Because even when I'm super pissed off at you, Mike.
Yes.
I can look at that list and be like, you're still every single one of those things.
Does it frustrate you?
It does not frustrate
No,
me.
like
It actually
seriously,
calms me down.
Like sometimes, like when you're really pissed off at me, and then you see me still doing the same things, like telling you, "Excuse me, babe, do you want this?" Or "Hey, can I get you this?" And at that time, you really are
mad. No, but
mad at me.
I really love that. You say this, and credit to you, because you say even when we're mad at each other, we should still do the things that we committed to doing for each other.
It does not stop.
Yeah.
Your commitment to each other does not stop because you're having a fight.
Yes.
You still do it. So if you've still been making breakfast for that man, you still make breakfast for that man. If this guy always takes that woman for date night, oh, let's go for date night and keep quiet and stare at each other. Yeah, but we still do the things that we committed to do, because the minute you stop, the truth of the matter is this, that people need to understand. Being with a person within four walls, you won't like each other every day.
No, absolutely not.
You won't. And that's what we mean by love is not enough. What other things about this person will make you stay and be at least functional when you're not feeling in love with them? Yes? And those things are what now will create the sense of longevity. I find grown people nowadays, I used a very good example of old people who have these little to funny to fights of theirs. And you look at grown people, you ask them how they lasted 40 years married. Yeah, you'll find them even joking about it, saying your mother here ni kichwa ngumu, ni nugu, but nampenda is my nugu, you know. And I love those terms of, you can be annoying, yes, you can be stubborn, yes, we may always have very intense fights, yes, but at the end of the day, if you even walked out of this gate and something happened to you, God forbid, knock on wood, I would forget that anger.
Yeah.
And I would remember, what the fuck? You know, I've lost this. You know, it hits you later. So that's why the anger does exist. And I even tell Shiko, anger is like floodwaters. They come, they go. Yeah. But after that, we remain together. We will not like each other every day.
No, we will not feel in love every day. Like when we were arguing this past week, I was not feeling mushy and in love. I was pissed. You were pissed. Like we were angry with each other. But if I was to look at the list, is he still self-aware? Is he still emotionally mature? Is he still a Christian? Like you were still every one of those things.
Yes.
So your person may make a mistake. Your person may do something you don't like, and you may not feel in love, but they're still the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
Yes.
And so during those days of anger, he would angrily ask me where my car keys were so he can...
Yeah.
Where are your keys?
Where are your keys?
And then I point with my bottom lip. I don't even open my mouth. I point with my bottom lip.
Because I usually park the car.
So he asks angrily and I point my bottom and he grabs my keys. Or, you know, if I'm serving him food, I'm like, have you eaten? And then we walk down to the kitchen quietly, walk downstairs to the kitchen quietly. And I serve him food, but I'm not going to sit there and eat with him because I'm angry with him. But still do those things for each other.
Yeah, because those things are truly what keeps you together. Think of love as dania kwa chakula. Mapenzi ni kama dania, lakini kuna mambo mengi lazima uyatie pale ndani. Katika ile supu ili ikue supu yenyewe ambayo iliyoiva iko tamu. So you need to do a lot more, and I think like we said earlier that relationships are work.
Yeah.
You need to work on it. It's not the falling in love. It's not just you being there and living in cloud 9 24/7.
No.
You will hate each other at some point. Okay, hate is maybe not a strong word.
You will not love,
like each other.
You will not be in love all the time. And you will dislike each other.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But we will apologize. For the men, let me tell you, women's apologies are very unique. I can tell you how me I usually know Shiko is apologizing. Like last week, you knew I was angry at you, and then you kept on doing things like you'd go on your phone, see a post, and be like, "Have you seen this?"
Kwenda huko, what?
No, you know, like
what? I don't even remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, I
And
do
then
not.
we'd sit down. Like our conversations were very stoic in nature. Like you're the one who asked me, "Have you eaten?" Or I was sitting there, and then we show each other pictures on social media. Please, no, we're not talking. We're just mad at each other. But we did resolve that. And,
We did.
and for men, if you find your woman struggles with apologizing in such situations, give it time. I've come to understand sometimes women's anger can be really like boiling water
It can simmer for a while.
So give it time.
Yeah.
You don't need to address that issue immediately. Give it time, give it some space. It's okay, sit down, watch a movie, play some video games. Once everyone is calm and cool, now approach the situation and be like, I do not appreciate XYZ. That's the best way to do it. But imambo ya kupigania kelele in whatever, it doesn't really help. Shouting at each other never helps. But those are the 7 rules. We are practicing them.
Yes.
I think for me, my biggest takeaway for today is I think we are getting most of these right.
You think so?
I think we're getting most of these right, in my opinion. Some of them, like comparison to other relationships, I don't think I do that anyway, so I really don't care about it. But I need to work more on dating each other.
Thank you. I was just going to say, can
And
we
we are
do a
going to
little
say
more
that.
of that? Yes,
And I think
please.
for you, in my opinion,
Uh-huh.
I just preempted what you were about to say.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. For you, just that whole continuing to build trust.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That idea of, you know what, I know my man needs to constantly feel that he's safe. Yeah.
True. So I need to work on. So you need to work on number 1, which is keep dating each other, and I need to work on continuing to build trust. Number 6.
Yes. But not to say, guys, don't get this wrong. This doesn't mean I don't trust her. I trust her 100%.
Better trust me.
Oh, come on. You better make me trust you more. So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining in at this beautiful Sunday. Remember, again, we are the Heart to Heart podcast with Mike and Shiko. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. Keep subscribing. Keep asking your friends to tune in. I hope next week, I won't trend rather. But
You never know.
you never know. There are people out there. I will leave you with this amazing quote as you start the week. Always tell yourself this: even when you dance in water, your enemies will accuse you of causing dust.
Ooh.
So leave them alone. Move on with your life, be happy, and always remember, you can start again in your 30s and in your 40s in a blended family, just like Shiko and I have done.
Yes.
We'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of the week and be blessed.